Oh my stars. We have 2 point-of-sale systems. We have a food and beverage one, and we have one for our movie ticketing. And the 2 don't like each other at all. But we have something no other restaurant company has. We have an exact count of how many guests are in our building. The problem is it's not in our food and beverage point of sale. So what we needed to do was to find a way to report on the sales from the 2 different systems in an integrated way that was like a single system. And we'd worked with Mirus before, and we thought, well, who better to partner up with? The same thing everybody else was using, Excel. The mandate came down from on high, get rid of the spreadsheets.
Why?
Because they take an enormous amount of time for our managers to work with. And we are famously known as one of the coolest movie theaters on the planet, and there is absolutely nothing cool about Excel. I love Excel, Excel's great, it's not cool. Just for starters, we can do per person average. We can do all of our metrics on food and beverage using the per person. We can do efficiency reports on how much food and beverage and movie tickets we're selling per screen, which is something we had to do manually with a spreadsheet before. We're even able to take our guest satisfaction, which is triggered by the movie theater point of sale, and merge that in with the food and beverage, and we were able to see which server was involved with which piece of feedback we get from our guests. So it's an incredibly powerful tool to bring all of that information together. We send out our alerts to our managers every week, or every day actually in that case, and they use it for reviews, and they also use that information to change up their operations. If we get a complaint the popcorn was no good, they're able to address that immediately because they can tell what time of day, which show, which movie it was. Another thing we can do is we're able to look at our product mix by film and by type of film. We sell a ton of Cosmopolitans at our girly night promotions. We sell a lot of whiskey at our action movies, and a ton of pizza and popcorn at the kids shows. So it gives us a better idea of what we're going to be selling based on what movies we're showing. Gives us a better idea of staffing for the bar, for the kitchen. Gives us a better idea of what we need to prep for that day. And it helps us engineer our menus. We'll make specials that are unique to that particular showing, that are appropriate for that type of film. Our guest satisfaction is actually a third-party program. It's Sistino, Listen 360. It's the old Net Promoter Score. And while that's triggered by the movie ticket purchase, it's not related to that. So we're integrating that in. We're also bringing in the labor schedules and our sales forecasts from hot schedules. And y'all were able to integrate with the National Weather Service. So we're able to see now what the weather was like when we're looking at year-over-year comps. Well, it keeps us from yelling at our managers for a bad day. It doesn't have a lot of predictive value, but it has a tremendous amount of explanatory value. Say, well, we're down 10% in this market versus last year, but this year we've had rain every day. Last year it was sunny every day. Or sometimes vice versa. People like to go see movies during the rain. We store 5 years worth of transaction level information in Mirus. We do all of our historical reporting. We don't even look at Great Plains for our historical reporting. Everything comes out of Mirus. And some really obscure stuff, like when Star Wars opened, we needed to see how many transactions we were doing online per minute. And that sounds like a really difficult request. It took maybe 5 minutes to pull that information out of Mirus. Spend a lot less time doing spreadsheets. We have a lot more confidence in our reporting because we're not manually transcribing things. The old process was to take a spreadsheet, copy that data into an email, then email that to our accounting team, who would then copy that information into a spreadsheet. I wish I was kidding about that. So there's an enormous amount of quality of life there. It gives up-to-date information to our people. our leadership team are real data nerds, and they're very heavily engaged with this. Oh my stars, because building something like this ourselves would be monstrous. Now, I'm a database person. I could load all of this stuff into a database and pull data out of it all day long, and it would always be me, and we would never have other users. Y'all have a marvelous report builder interface that allows us, you don't have to be an IT person to build reports, and that's a huge, huge thing for us. Your reporting is extremely transparent. Our managers have great confidence that the numbers coming out of it are accurate. Building something like this in-house would mean I'd be supporting it in-house forever and ever. We don't even want to store 5 years worth of transaction level data. So not only do y'all have the great front-end reporting tool, but just the fact that you're storing all of this data for us. If we decide, hey, I want to see what we did 5 years ago, we could do it in a moment instead of having to write a query, write our own crystal report, and build it off of that. You're extremely open to integrating with just about anybody on the planet. There were no players out there that would do the movie theater software we use. And you gamely jumped into that and didn't know quite what you were getting into. But any integration we've thrown at you, you've been able to handle. One thing that I don't think you get enough credit for, I've had 4 different account reps in the 12 years I've been working with Mirus, and they've all been fantastic. So the service has been excellent. The numbers are extremely reliable. I don't have to think, are the numbers right? I know this. I don't have to waste any bandwidth on that. We have a good time. We talk every week, even if we don't have anything to talk about, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, that there's nothing going on that either of us need to know about. And that's huge for me. A relationship with a vendor can really drift if you don't stay in constant contact.